And welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. My name's John.
And I'm Kim.
And we thank you for stopping by. On a Thursday night, this would be our weekend entertainment update edition.
Where we tell you what to do?
Yeah. But I hope they listen better than I listen.
Yes, because you don't listen. You swear you do, but you don't.
Well, I just have other things to do.
You have lots of stuff to do. You have too much to do.
Yeah, I just had other things to do.
So I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking I need to make you like a schedule, so that certain times.
A schedule?
Yeah, so that you remember to do the things that, like this block of time, I'll do the things that Kim reminds me to do over and over again, like get this person's ad up, get that person's ad up, things like that. This time of the day, I'll make the phone calls that Kim reminded me to make.
But it's not so simple right now because we still have a glitch from our server upgrade. I can't add advertisers yet.
You don't want to say that.
Well, I mean, I have a glitch.
We can welcome them on
we
the
can.
front page. Yeah.
Yes, we can. And also would like to thank our advertiser, our sponsor tonight, Golden State Cellular. Now, one of the reasons tonight we're talking about Golden State is that they are just completing up. We were given a sneak peek.
Yes. Tour.
A sneak peek and tour.
Which I felt like, instead of a wedding crasher, I felt like an employee party crasher.
See, I felt right at home because I wandered off into the technical center and everything else. Now, okay, was it Friday night? Saturday night. We were invited to attend a Golden State Cellular employee barbecue and dinner. All right. Now, what this was, it was a open house preview
of
their new headquarters.
Yes.
Technical building. It's a new technical center where they're going to have their call centers. Mm-hmm. If you call them, to talk about billing questions or anything like that, you will call this location.
Yes, very beautiful location.
And one of the things we'd like to point out is even in a ostensibly a down market, that's safe to say right now, that Golden State is still investing as one of the largest employers in the area of high tech, good paying jobs. Yes. They're investing, for example, just in this center alone, they're investing over $1.5 million just in the technical center and and that alone. And we're going to do a separate piece on it, but wanted to just say thank you and
John,
for what they.
John, we went. We go to this event, and nobody knows me. Everybody knows John there, but
they know you.
No, they don't know me. I've never met anybody at Golden State except for Daryl.
Okay.
And we go, we sit. We're sitting down, and then John just leaves me there in my lawn chair, and I'm just like,
well, you know why?
Who is this lady? Is she like,
their head engineer
or something?
Their head engineer, Lawrence, gave me a tour of the switch.
I have to say, I have never been so uncomfortable in my entire life. Because I was just sitting there all alone, and everybody's looking at me like, who is that? Is she somebody new? Is she a spy?
Who is she? This woman?
Instead of wedding crashers, I felt like employee potluck crasher.
So it's easier to crash a wedding?
It was good food, yes. It would have been, I think. I was very uncomfortable. But John took off, took a tour, left me sitting there.
Yeah, while Kim was sitting there, Lawrence was giving me a tour of the central switch. Yes. Now, if you make a Golden State Cellular phone call, or if you're roaming on Sprint or Verizon, in the entire Motherlode area, your call goes through that center.
Yes, it does. And it's very pretty.
Yeah.
I love the carpets. Did you like the carpets?
Well, that's not where I toured.
I toured the offices later.
Yeah, you toured the offices.
Later, yes.
And that's what they were really showing off.
Switch.
I asked to go see the switch because, it's a nerdly thing.
You're kind of a techie guy, yes. I would have been bored with that. I was interested in the decor.
Yes.
Paint colors, carpet colors, things like that.
And he was telling me, I think they had, let me Google this real quick, how many lines they had coming in. Because right now, they need a line out for every phone call they're carrying.
Wow.
OC3. Let's see, an OC3.
And they are going to hold an official grand opening when they are fully moved in. Big shindig, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess that'll be open to the public. I don't know. Or are we just going to get invited again?
Now, I believe there was a T3 OC. They may have been OC48s. Now, this is why sometimes your cell bill is not always real cheap.
Okay.
Because this is an interesting thing. And I think he said OC3s. Now, they have 3, this is from something I just pulled up, they had 3, I believe it's OC3s going into the main trunk. Now, each T1 is... Can we get nerdy for like a second?
Go ahead, I don't care. Go ahead,
now,
get nerdy.
If a lot of you may have heard of broadband, a T1 was like, wow, fast. Now, T1 basically will hold 1.5 megabits per second, or it's the equivalent to 24 phone lines.
Okay.
Okay? So, if they had one T4, they could T1, they could handle 24 phone calls simultaneously on that. Now, I believe they have 3 OC3s coming in, so you're looking at basically, that's the equivalent of at least 300 T1 lines going into that building, and I think they were OC48s. So an OC48 would be
you said
roughly...
they were OC3s. Now you don't know?
Well, anyway, there's a lot. So if you ever want a really... I mean, that is probably... Well, if they're 100, and... No, that's got to be more than that. So basically, yeah, that wouldn't be... Well, anyway, just the bandwidth costs. Okay, if you're buying that in the open market, would be like $50,000 a month just for bandwidth costs.
And that's for the OC3s. Now, they may either have OC3s or OC48s. That's even higher.
I think it was OC48s. And now, just anyway. But anyway, they have a lot. It was impressive. Higher, yeah. It was impressive because you think of this as a rural area, not a real high-tech. You know, if you go into their switch, it's like a server room in Silicon Valley.
You don't realize
it's all the stuff right here in. This is actually in Jamestown, where their main switch is, and they invest in high tech here locally.
Yes.
Good paying jobs, progressive company, and yes, they're an advertiser, and we like to thank them for being advertised. But the other thing is, it's just cool to have a local company that is forward thinking, invests in technology, invests in the area. Because you well know, is people moving to our area take things like good cell coverage, for example, for granted.
Yes.
And with the topography challenges...
to other areas take it for granted,
okay.
too.
Well, the topography challenges of a hilly area, because most of you know, radio waves don't like to go through mountains. So they have to be able to have more towers significantly more towers than you would have to cover a flat area, just to be able to provide service here. Okay. So, and we'll provide more on this later. I just want to say thanks for inviting us, but also giving us a tour of the new $1.5 million technology center.
Thank you very much.
And to thank you whoever babysat my wife so she wouldn't...
Actually, nobody did. I was alone.
Didn't Dan come talk to you? Dan?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Everyone looked at me like, okay, who is this lady?
Who is this woman that crashed our company picnic?
Anyway.
All right. A little bit on national news.
National news?
Well, just want to bump into it and say is the Dow actually gained the most
Can you believe that?
in 6 years. So the roller coaster continues.
Yes.
Stocks were back up today. They like what they saw. California home sales surge as prices go down, but the numbers are starting to turn. President Bush gave a little speech this morning on the economic turmoil, and is a interesting thing
we have on our site
to know that if people are looking for the bottom, this may be it. One interesting thing is Warren Buffett is starting to buy. Okay. So if you see Warren start gobbling stuff up, that's a pretty safe bet that the bottom may be near.
All right.
Just as a thought.
Okay.
All right? Just as a thought. Oh, look, can I... So
the Dow dropped 400, and then it jumped. How much today? It dropped 400 at the beginning of the week.
And back up 600. I believe it was up... No, it goes up 400.
Okay. But it dropped like 400 Monday, and then it's back up again.
And nobody wants Washington Mutual.
Okay. We used to have a bank loan through Washington Mutual years ago.
That's right. They don't want it. Yeah. It's all our fault.
It's all our fault.
Yeah, it's all our fault. Okay. All right. Also, a little bit of local news. And on good local news, Calaveras County found out today that they will be receiving all of the funding that they were originally promised for the I believe that's $26 million. They will be receiving all of it.
That's great
news. That's good news.
They found out from the state of California today.
Today.
Yes, today.
Today that they were receiving. So there was 3 or 4 counties ahead of them that were not able to fulfill their requirements
Okay.
to being able to get the money. A lot of these were for reentry facilities, for
Okay.
nonviolent felons and that type of things.
So do we have a budget yet? I don't even know.
They think an agreement may have been reached, but
A
I don't
budget?
know. On a budget.
Okay, that's good.
Has not been signed. We don't have a budget yet.
Yes, it takes a
All
while,
right.
I know.
Okay. Yeah, it's been taking them a long time.
I
But-
remember years ago, I dated a guy that worked for the governor at the time. Was it years ago? Gosh, 20 years ago?
20 years. Was it Wilson?
It was.
It was Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he worked on the budget. He was part of that department. So I remember he was always...
He may still be working on that stuff now.
Yeah, he was
Those people tend
he
to.
was working all those late nights. Nope, we don't have to remember him coming back. And I said, don't have a budget yet. Don't have a budget yet. Don't have a budget yet. That was
Don't have the budget
yes,
yet.
yes. Anyway,
And another little bit of local news. This morning, down in Oakdale, at the quarterly Tri-Dam meeting, the Tri-Dam, who is actually the authority that oversees the water and actually the lake at Lake Tulloch, decided they didn't like the CEQA document for the environmental document for the Villa del Lago project.
okay.
And so now Tri-Dam is going to sue Calaveras County.
Okay.
So Tri-Dam is going to sue Calaveras County. We're not really happy with the Villa del Lago project. This is a project that did pass 3-2 back in August. So
Who's
we'll
not
see where
happy
that
with
goes.
it? They're not happy with
Villa
it?
Tri-Dam is not
You
happy.
said we're not happy with it. Did you realize that?
Oh. I did not mean to imply
I am
that
sad
I was in
that
any way
now I am
concerned.
sad that they're going to be demolishing all of that. You realize that? It just makes me sad.
Makes you
Well,
sad.
that's happening here pretty quick, isn't it? In October or something like that.
Well, some of this is probably all tied up in this, just because they're probably not going to tear it down until they could,
until the lawsuits.
until they know that they can rebuild it.
Okay. Yeah, because if they're being sued, they probably
They're
can't
just going to end
rebuild
up with bare dirt.
Yes, exactly.
So, so that's winding
That's
its
kind of
way
yes.
through.
It's kind of not the good news. And John attended a very neat event this afternoon
I
at Greenhorn
did.
Creek. They had a golf tournament held for a fallen 911 firefighter at Greenhorn Creek this afternoon.
Yes.
It was very good turnout.
Yes, very good
successful.
turnout. And let's see if we can pull that up. Do you have a little? Do you have a little other little piece that you
You
can?
also met with. You had a chat with the COG today. You did a COG chat.
I did. We
Yes.
did a COG chat.
Yes, a COG chat.
And it's been too long since we did an
Yes.
update on what the
Yes,
COG
I need
has.
to talk to. I like the COG.
Here, well, let's do the COG. Let's hear. Do you want to talk a little about what we talked about? Okay.
I said they have a way of finding money. You need to find us some money. They are so good at getting money. And they were joking. He said they have a tree in the back. They're growing bills from. If you'd like to come pick some off, feel free.
They got the money tree out in the
Yes,
back.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So we did a COG chat today. Well, John did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tim McSorley actually informed us that the Angels Camp bypass is 1 year ahead of schedule. So that's some good news.
Just about.
I have a
The
typo.
whole
I put Tom McSorley. Sorry about that. I was in a hurry
We'll
getting
fix
it
it.
up before the news.
Yeah. And
I know your name's not Tom.
no, they have a knack. And you want to explain what the COG is?
The COG is the Calaveras Council of Governments.
Right.
They are in charge of transportation. Correct.
Well, the Calaveras County
projects.
the Calaveras County Council of Government is basically a conduit, because for a lot of your funding, for example, funding for things such as even things like the Ebbets Pass Scenic Byway, the Angels Camp Bypass, all right? The Angels Camp Bypass, all that stuff basically flows through the COG. So as a regional transportation planning agency, they can receive funds for multiple counties. For
Okay.
example, monies for...
They just got some for Valley Springs last week, right?
They did.
They did.
And monies for different counties. For example, it can be Amador County, Alpine County, Calaveras County.
Okay.
The Tri-County Agreement
All right.
flows through the COG.
Okay.
So, that's, a lot of it.
So what else did he tell you today?
What else did he tell me today?
He talked to you about the Angels Camp bypass being 1 year ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and that's if everything holds good. And it may not. I mean, you know,
amazingly how
sometimes,
fast they're
but
getting
it
that done.
is, and I apologize, I'm looking for...
Maybe we don't need to do it tonight.
Oh, we do.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Here we go. Here's Tom McSorley.
Poor Tim.
I'm kidding. Somebody thought your name was Tim last year.
They did?
Skiing, remember?
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we are. Okay, here we are. Now let's slide this forward a little bit.
Oh.
Now, he is a man, he knows how. And they have a knack of finding...
The two of them, right?
They
There's
do.
Two of them, a couple secretaries, and they do a good job there.
It's an honor to have invade the conference room for a few minutes. These guys, I have to say, are amazing in finding little piles of money. Well, anyway, sometimes bigger piles.
Like $60 million for a bypass.
In the Valley Springs area. But before we get into that, what's the latest on the little
We'll play a piece on the bypass.
How are they doing?
Can they hear?
Yes, the Angels can't
Anybody here?
There's a number of bypasses.
Yes, there are.
It
Yes.
seems to get part of the conversation. Actually, we are unofficially about a year ahead of schedule. For those of you that have driven by, you'll notice that there are ridges coming out of the ground.
Amazing.
They're forming the abutments on a couple of the others. All of the earthwork is done. In fact, they've even begun putting in some of the permanent topsoil, replacing the topsoil
I saw that.
the erosion
Yeah.
control and,
Yeah.
and revegetation of some of those cut and fill slopes. So we're really excited.
I even saw some road base going down yesterday.
Okay, that's going to be great.
Yeah.
I would be surprised. I haven't been out there with myself, but it is really moving along very well.
Did it light up?
Officially,
Traffic light up?
Caltrans is still looking at the December 2010 as the completion date,
Right.
but unofficially, I think
it's going to be before then.
that we're ahead of schedule.
And one of the things that's been amazing to me is I know we haven't had a chance to talk in person since they were. It was almost an orchestra of when they, the heavy equipment. And it was fascinating to watch. It was just.
Well, yeah, we were very fortunate in that we got Teichert.
Yes.
Teichert is one of the big boys, if you will, and they are in fact orchestrated. Just like the dams with heavy machinery.
Yeah.
And I was out there one day watching the scrapers move. And I believe that I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that they were in radio contact. They had them lined up in various aspects of scooping up the dirt and then laying it down once they got to wherever they were looking to fill.
Yeah.
That area to the fill area. So it's very well orchestrated to achieve maximum efficiency. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's been impressive. Now somebody said something to me that it was in some ways it was fortunate for this project. But it was a little bit of a down cycle in the economy that we got their 18, so to speak.
Yes.
Is that?
That's apparent.
Well, I don't know about the 18,
Okay.
but certainly in terms of bid, the estimate, engineer's estimate, and the allocation from the Transportation Commission was in the neighborhood of $31 million. Yet the project actually came in at about
Okay.
23 million, yeah.
So
Wow.
I think that there was a benefit of.
Yes, they are very good at finding lumps of money.
All right.
We will have the full COG chat up on our website.
Yes, COG chat.
The COG
yes.
chat for you to enjoy.
So the Angels Camp bypass, and one of the things we talked to him about was the, as you may recall, there's been some news pieces about the Arnold Rural Livable Base. Anyway, the
Gary, you say it all.
Arnold Rural Livable Based Mobility Plan.
Yes.
All right, now that was approved. And this is, once they have a document in place like that, then as projects come through, there becomes more of a pick list, so to speak, for mitigations for developers and things like that. So it's actually an implementation document, as well as something that can gradually become part of the general plan. Now, The other thing is, working off the Arnold model, they just received a grant down in the Valley Springs area for well over $200,000.
Wow.
That was spearheaded by myvalleysprings.com. There was a couple other agencies as well that I don't remember off the top of my head. But now Valley Springs will have the money to be able to do a really nice planning document on things, for example, like bicycle paths, integrated things. They're looking at doing even a bicycle and walking path from downtown Valley Springs all the way down to La Contenta.
Wow.
So it would really be a nice addition.
Yes.
But so that's a nice thing. So now through the COG, they were able to work. So basically, the COG will be the conduit through which some of the grant money flows. The myvalleysprings.com group and the other planning groups down there actually spearheaded working the application.
Okay.
And on that same vein, starting next month, they start really working on the San Andreas plan.
Okay.
So
yes.
the San Andreas plan with beautification projects, planning for things like pavement treatments, beautifying the entrances into San Andreas. So, a lot of good stuff coming out of the COG.
All right. We will have that chat up for you later.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. Now, we also will have the Builders Association debate that was held last night up later on the pinetree.net for your viewing pleasure.
Yes, the Builders Association.
Yes.
Now, the last 2 nights have been Greenhorn Creek nights,
Yes, they
because
have
these
been.
meetings were actually held in Greenhorn.
Oh, why not? It's a beautiful place
Last
to hold
night
events.
was the Calaveras Builders Association meeting where they elected new officers for the year, and also we were joking a little bit, but they came out swinging, so to speak, at the candidates because they asked some pretty pointed questions.
They did.
I would have to say that as far as actual weighty or meaty issues, Kim wants me to hurry.
And what time do we start?
We got all the time. This is a web show, right? Just kidding. Anyway, the full thing will be up. But there was there was Zero McDaniel, Gary Toffanelli, Supervisor Tom Tryon, Councilman Lee Seaton. All 4 of the supervisor candidates were there. They talked to them about things, for example. Some of the questions, for example, is because one of the things in the county the last couple of years is a lot of people thought that department heads were actually making policy.
Okay.
So one of the questions are, should department heads be able to make policy,
Exactly.
or should that be reserved for the
Board of
supervisors? So they went through, you had 4 different answers. Some of them pretty, they agreed for the most part, but different variations of that, and it's a very good thing.
Okay.
One little tiny clip. Can we play a little bit of fireman clip?
Do we have time?
All right. And also tonight there was the 7th annual fire. There was the 7th annual golf tournament, benefit golf tournament for a fallen. Let me make sure I get his.
A fallen firefighter that was.
It was in the World Trade Centers.
Yes.
Interesting thing today was today at Greenhorn there was actually several firemen that were actually in the Twin Towers.
Oh, really? Wow.
There was a lot of different pieces to this, and the fact that there's an organization and a website called Fire Nuggets, and they're the ones that sponsor this golf tournament.
Okay.
And it is the Lieutenant Andy Fredericks golf tournament. So this is a benefit. They've been doing this for 7 years. It's been held every year at Greenhorn Creek, and this is not really a local tournament. There was this drew people, although there was a local team that took 2nd place in the tournament today. But this is a tournament that pulls from all over the U.S.
Wow.
It is they pull from all over the U.S. And it is a tournament that benefits the family of this particular fallen firefighter. The other last little nugget that we'll put up is that there was 343 firefighters that perished in the Twin Towers. And there was kind of one of those deja vu little moments is when they went out to start the course today, one of the placards on hole 1 from the white tees it's 343 yards
Oh, wow.
to the hole. So there's a lot of really interesting things. It's kind of coincidentally the hole, the amount of yards to the hole matched up to the thing on the firefighters. And we'll play one little tiny bit.
It's a week. How much time do we have left, John? What time do we start?
And they had bagpipes there. There was a bagpipe troupe that came in, played, marched in. And there's something kind of haunting about bagpipes. So they marched in, they did a tribute to him. Earlier this morning, they did a bagpipe tribute and on the first tee about 9:30 this morning. So, and that is for the Andy Fredericks Memorial Golf Tournament held at Greenhorn.
I think we better get on with our weekend entertainment stuff.
You think so?
Time. They had the Discover Calaveras Querencia Inn style this evening at 5:30 p.m. out on Sheep Ranch Road. The social time began at 5:30, followed by a tour of this very unique property. Have you ever seen pictures of it?
Yeah, it's
very,
really
very
cool.
Unique. So that was held,
very, very
held
cool.
this evening. Starting tomorrow night, we have football, right?
And tomorrow night, we will be broadcasting live from Ceres as Central Valley takes on Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
We will get the feed if you're on cable. We will get the feed at 7:30.
Okay.
So it's 7:30 up. We will get the feed and bring it up live to you from Ceres. We will start the feed on the website about 7, so you'll be able to catch the last.
Hopefully, I mean, sometimes you might be a few minutes late.
It is. It depends on their scheduling.
Yes,
But it also depends on their scheduling. For example, last Friday night they didn't start the varsity game until about 7:45. So, but starting from 7:30 on cable, we'll have the feed. So,
All right.
Friday Night Live football. This will be the second of at least 10 games this year.
Okay. Provided to you by thepinetree.net,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. All right. So what's going on this weekend,
Well,
Kim?
we have, let me see. We have Friday evening, we have the football.
Yep.
The Fresh Fridays Farmers Market continues in Angels Camp through October 10th. We also have the preview of the Artist Studio Tour exhibit continuing through October 11th at the Calaveras Arts Gallery in downtown San Andreas. And let's go on to Saturday.
And starting off Saturday, the APBA hydroplane boat races at Salt Springs Reservoir. They will be holding races.
Yes,
They'll be racing on Salt Springs.
We have the Paws Open House at 8:30 a.m. White Elephant Sale begins at 8:30 a.m. Open House from 12 to 2:30 p.m. Paws Sanctuary is located at 11435 Simmerhorn Road in Galtz. See Nicholas and Gypsy the elephants and the other animals at the sanctuary. So I guess is it being held in Galt, huh? Their open house? I thought it was being held here in San Andreas. Okay. We have the Bret Hart Cross Country Invitational at Frogtown starting at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Not 9 a.m. We also have the Writers Workshop, which is sold out. So they asked me not to promote it through the Calaveras Arts Council.
Don't promote it?
Well, they said we don't need promoting. It was sold out quite a long time ago.
But you just kind of did.
Yeah, well, I guess we won't even talk about it.
Just kidding.
Also on Saturday, we have the Union Lake Cleanup. Every
to clean up the shoreline. For more information, you can visit SNAP's website at snackattack.com or call 795-9310. And a fun event. This is one that we hope, there was a little bit of uncertainty whether it would be back this year, but it is.
This is one of the things that we hope becomes a must-see event for everyone. This is up in Bear Valley. We went to it and did some videotaping of it that we'll post up later on the site so you can see it, the stuff from last year. It is the Bear Valley Trials in September 20th and 21st at Bear Valley on the Rock.
Kids have a great time. If you've got boys,
right behind where they put the big tent for the Bear Valley Music Festival. And so this is under a special use permit from the Stanislaus National Forest. And the interesting thing here is this is a trials event. Now, this isn't like motocross or something like this. These guys go really, really slow.
They do, but it is hard. They go uphill, up rocks on their motorcycles.
They have they climb on stuff that you can't even walk on.
Yes.
But it's a fun thing for the kids because they can see the motorcycles. This is almost a very skill event more than a speed event, and this will run the 20th and 21st. The 21st is the finals, so if you want to go see the winners, really take it up. And we did actually see, and the interesting thing is one of the companies that is sponsoring this is from Copperopolis. So there's a local angle on this, and so take the kids, go up there, watch them go.
All right.
And there's people from all over the world.
I'll tell you that. They love climbing those rocks and watching those motorcycles and all that. We also have the Harvest Home Festival out at Ironstone Vineyards, being hosted, I'm assuming it's being the Calaveras Enterprise presenting a home festival featuring exhibits ranging from home construction and improvement to art, live music, wine tasting, as well as farmers market and ski equipment swap meet, free admission and parking. Visit calaveраsenterprise.com for online registration of booths, or ironstonevineyards.com for venue directions, and that goes on Saturday and Sunday, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday.
All right.
Okay, what else?
What else?
There's another cleanup day on Sunday. Let me see here real quick. See. Live at the Loop on Saturday evening, actually 4 o'clock at the Live at the Loop at the Dorrington Hotel. And something fun for you Twisted fans. Twisted Oak is holding a Twisted Oak Winery Presents Release the Spaniard Dinner at 7 p.m. at Twisted Oak.
Have they been holding the Spaniard hostage?
Yes, they have been, I guess.
They're
funny.
going to let the Spaniard loose, huh?
You can visit twistedoak.com if you're interested in attending this fun, I'm sure it'll be a fun-filled dinner.
I think so.
Okay, on Sunday, they're having a Household Toxics Collection Day.
That sounds like fun.
Which, let me see, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Public Works Maintenance Yard on Limbaugh Road in Arnold. From the Calaveras County, let me see. That's weird. Okay, it says it's going to be held in Arnold, but then it says.
Well, probably the different dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Department of Public Works is sponsoring the safe disposal of household toxics. For more information on what substances will be accepted, you can call 754-6403 or visit calaverasrecycles.com.
And we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. I'd like to thank Golden State Soda for sponsoring the news tonight. We would like to hope you go out there and have a really good evening,
safe weekend,
yes. And have fun out there. Come up and play. And also like to thank some of the people today, Tim McSorley from the COG for letting us stop by and do a chat.
Oh, we also have a new chef chat up.
We do have the new chef chat, and this is basically
this is a fun one. Chef James is laying in his clam pit, right?
He will show you how to build a clam bake pit.
Yes.
So, if you want to bake clams or other seafood for several hundred of your favorite friends, we'll show you how.
Yes.
And thank you.
Good night.
Good night.